Now I don't want you, but if you have some question, we can discuss the matter.
Hello?
Ah.
Sir, as you said, if we keep our mind inside, we can control our mind and we can overcome the realities of the world. But is there a way we can overcome physical pain? Even if I think that I am not the body, as long as the soul is inside, it's a reality for me. So, is there a way?
No, when you have reached the highest level of understanding and when you have touched your source, till then this physical body's pain will remain. That pain, but since your mind is balanced, you will be able to deal with it in a better way. Yes. Apart from that, also, when you when the soul leaves the body, then it will be finally free of all pain, and plus, it doesn't have to come back again to a body and suffer pain. Once for all, chapter closed, finish. These are the two things. However, through the practice of yoga, you can manage your pain to a great extent. You cannot be free of physical pain because the body, suppose you're cycling, you slip. You may be a yogi or a non-yogi, it doesn't matter. Slip and the handlebar hits you between the legs. There is pain. What can you do? Right? But the yogi won't scream and run around like a crazy guy. You know how to handle. But the pain, of course, will be there as long as you have to. Hey, okay, you didn't put up your hand.
Sir, actually, from what I have learned so far, everything is Maya, and everything is unreal, and we came from the Jivatma, that is Paramatma. So the thing is, why did he create this existence in the first place through the
That's why I
unreal?
told you, don't ask me who hypnotized us in the first place. But we are in it. We don't know the source. Suppose you are going home, okay? You take the car keys and go out and you try to drive the car. Suddenly you find that all your four tires have been punctured by somebody. Now what is the solution? To find out who punctured it or to get rid of the puncture? Suppose you get rid of the puncture, then you can probably catch that guy who is just running away and then know who did it. So first thing is to get rid of that pain and sorrow that is in us. And then you'll know. I gave you a new example, modern example. This is not new. Buddha said this many years ago. He said, somebody went to a mango garden to eat mangoes. Someone hiding somewhere shot an arrow. Arrow hit him here. That's pain, right? So everything comes how to get rid of pain. This is our basic question. Pain. Now Buddha said, you have fallen down with the arrow here. What will you do first? Remove the arrow and try to assuage the pain before it becomes a gangrene and can't do anything? Or lying there, will you think, who has shot this arrow? Where has it come from? So because then by the time you find it, so you are dead. Finished. I hope I did my best. And please, let me correct you. I did not say that the world, the whole thing is Maya. I said it is impermanent. I did not say it does not exist. It exists. As long as it exists, it is there. It is not Maya. After this I have to eat my lunch. It is not Maya. It is true. But, not really. Uh, but it is not permanent. If I eat lunch, again I have to eat lunch tomorrow. It's not once I eat it is finished. No. That's what happens. So because it is not permanent, it's called unreal, not because it is not there. Also, tomorrow I want to discuss this matter with you. What is this thing which is real or unreal? What is our definition of it? We'll do it tomorrow because I need something, no, tomorrow. Where is the microphone?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Oh.
sir, as you
But
write,
people didn't put up their hands.
I did put up, sir, later on. As you rightly said, regarding the music, long forgotten by me, I started replaying sitar. And as you rightly said, I have discovered the same happiness as I have discovered after doing the Kriya. Only one problem I am facing after Kriya, I am going to sleep, deep sleep for 2 hours. Difficult to get up.
I think you missed your deep sleep for many years in life. So you're getting it back. So allow it to be. Allow it to be. After some time you'll get bored of it and go to samadhi. Seriously. That happens. When you are doing not only kriya, any meditation exercise, yogic exercise, and if you're falling asleep, this means that your mind has actually calmed down. And not being able to go to the next level, it has gone into sleep. Because the dividing line between deep sleep, which is called technically Sushupti, and the higher spiritual state, technically called Turiya, the borderline is very thin. If your mind is not purified enough and subtle enough, then it can, when it becomes calm, fall into sleep. If you need it, please do. But try to sometimes remain awake. Did you put up your hand?
Sir, I'll try.
There is time. Yeah, okay.
Sir, I'll try to shorten the question. So the question has come from the first question that he had asked about the pain.
Pain.
So there are pains that affect the body, and a lot of people get it into their head a lot.
What's that? Say that again.
So there's a pain that has affected the body, but it also says, some people say that it affects your soul as well. First question is it true
No.
or not?
No. Only the body.
So
And the mind, of course.
So-
But the mind is not the soul.
There was there was another person whom I used to follow earlier. He had said meditation is an art of dying.
Dying.
Incorrect.
Anyway,
So
doesn't
your
matter.
last thought does not affect your next life, basically. That is what the question
What?
is.
What?
Your last thought before dying does not affect your next life.
What is that?
Does not affect your next life. Your next life, that
It
is.
does.
So that's my question. How to make sure that your last thought is
It's
the
very
right
true.
one?
This is absolutely true. That the last wish, desire, thought in your mind when you're dying will decide your future. This is true. So people think, I will now carry on with my life. When I die, I'll say Narayana, and not first. Because you will think only of what you were always thinking. It's not easy to change, suddenly shift it and change your thought process. Not so easy. If you start thinking now, then you'll think of that also when you die. So therefore, start thinking now. Don't wait for that.
How do we keep our check on that? How do we keep a check? What is it that is there in our mind always?
Every now and then keep looking at yourself and saying, I need to find out the essence of my being. Well, if you want to put it in another way, you can say, I need to come face to face with the Lord that I worship. There are two ways of saying. Keep saying that even in this life. Don't think in the later on when you're about to die, you can say that. It's not possible because the mind will think only of what it was thinking all along. They say that there was a man who was an oil monger. So he decided when he was about to die that he will only think of God. He thought Narayana, so Narayana, Narayana. Suddenly he saw that the wick in the oil lamp was too long and there was a big flame. He forgot all about Narayana. He said, "You are wasting oil, cut the wick." So he was born again as an oil monger. I mean, this is a story. Okay.
Sir, a common question.
ഈ ലിസ്റ്റാണോ അതോ ഒന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ?
I have non-stable health and mind.
Huh?
Non-stable health and mind.
Health,
Health,
physical
yeah, physical.
and mind.
I want mind. It is very essential to repair urgently.
To be repaired
Yeah,
urgently.
urgently. To continue my remaining journey. I am submitting for your solution.
Your main repair job starts now. Part of it has been done. The rest we need to work on. And if your body is under repair, you need to go to a good doctor and figure out how to clean it, how to get it done. As far as the mind is concerned, we shall offer a solution. But you have to do what you have to do. Don't leave it on me. When the Vaidya prescribes a medicine, you have to eat it. Right? You can't give it to somebody else. So, I will give you the prescriptions. We already started the prescriptions in a way. But practical things we'll discuss as we come. As far as your body is concerned, try to see a good medical practitioner and clear your body of whatever is the problem. Even if it is not cleared, you can still clean the mind. I know people who are very sick in body but very advanced spiritually. So these don't have to go together all the time. However, a healthy body is good to have a healthy mind. It works both ways. A healthy mind always generally has a healthy body also. To change your dietary habits and various day-to-day activities so that you keep yourself fit.
Thank you, sir.
We'll go like this, zigzag. Oh,
നമസ്കാരം. പരമാത്മാവ് എന്ന് എപ്പോഴും പറഞ്ഞു കേൾക്കുന്നൊരു വാക്കാണ് ബ്രഹ്മം. ചില സമയങ്ങളിൽ പറഞ്ഞു കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ ജീവാത്മാവും അതും ഒന്നാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട് പലപ്പോഴും. പക്ഷെ വാസ്തവത്തിൽ ഇത് രണ്ടായിട്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും അനുഭവപ്പെട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. പരമാത്മാവെന്ന് പറയുന്ന അചലമായ ഒരു വസ്തു നിന്ന് എല്ലാത്തിനെയും പ്രപഞ്ചം മുഴുവനും ചലിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു വസ്തുവാണ്. ആ ചലിക്കാത്ത വസ്തു എല്ലാത്തിനെയും ചലിപ്പിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ മനുഷ്യരായിട്ടുള്ളവർ ആത്മാവിൻ്റെ ജീവൻ അതെങ്ങനെയാണ് അറിയേണ്ടത്? അതാണ് ചോദ്യം.
And let me explain what he said. He said,
Sorry, I am
he said, I have to play many roles. He said, translator now. So, he said that is the Jivatma, the individual soul, separate from the Paramatman. Alle, Aditya Chodyam. And if that is so, how do we reach the Paramatma? One. If it is not so, how can I lift my thought which says it is limited and find out the unity of the Jivatma and the Paramatma? അതല്ലേ പറഞ്ഞത്?
Yes, sir.
So, actually, in the absolute sense of the term, there is no difference between that and this. The difference is like a reflection on calm waters. There are some people who like to enjoy the Supreme Paramatman and remain the Jivatma. They say, we don't want to become the sugar, then you cannot enjoy it. So we would rather purify ourselves and enjoy the sugar and keep ourselves separate. This is deliberate. Because they want to enjoy the Paramatman, whose quality is Sachidananda. But in the ultimate analysis, when the conditioning of the mind falls off, എല്ലാം ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് മനസ്സിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ കണ്ടീഷനിങ്ങും ഡിസ്ട്രാക്ഷനും എല്ലാം പോയി കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ആ ശുദ്ധ മനസ്സ് പരമാത്മാവും ജീവാത്മാവും വ്യത്യാസമില്ല എന്ന അനുഭവം ഉണ്ടാവും. When the mind is clean and quiet and with no distractions, you will suddenly realize that there is no separate entity called the Jivatma. Till then, it will remain so.
മനസ്സും ആത്മാവും ഒന്നാണോ?
അല്ല. Mind is that which makes us think, act. We cannot find out where the mind is except that we can say it's the brain. There is no other location you can find for the mind. So mind actually means, I'm existing, I'm eating, I'm drinking, I want this. ഇതെല്ലാം മൈൻഡിലാണ്, ആത്മാവല്ല. This is the mind. Now, the mind is a product of the brain because thought is a product of the brain. If you don't eat for many days, you cannot even think. Why? Because it is dependent on your food. Patanjali says the subtlest particles of your food go to make the mind. So, if it is dependent on food, then it must be a material thing, physical thing. However, there is a witness which is conscious of the mind. That is the Atman. Harinama Sankirtanam. കണ്ണിന് കണ്ണുമനമാകും കണ്ണതിന് കണ്ണായിടുന്ന പൊരുൾ ആനന്ദറിയുമുളവ് ആനന്ദമെന്ത് ഹരിനാരായണായ നമഃ.
മനോബുദ്ധ്യഹങ്കാര.
That means that which is the witness of the mind, which is conscious and aware, that is the Atman, not the mind per se. The mind cannot work without it. Because the mind cannot work without consciousness and awareness, but it can remain without the mind. That is the difference.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I am torn between this lady and you.
Sir, Gita says about Gyanis, Lakshana.
Say that again.
In Gita, the Lakshana of Gyanis is to get engrossed in self and in the God.
The get what?
Engrossed in self and in the God. That's what the practice is all about.
I am not sure which interpretation of the Gita you see.
Okay. But then we use make of our body also to achieve our ultimate goal. But with the aging, and with the aging, when person gets old, and all your bodily,
like me,
So when you don't get the help of body, like sitting in dhyana or focusing better, will body support withdrawing from you? Will your sadhana or progress gets stumped, or and then otherwise how else to continue?
It depends on how urgently you want it. If you want it very urgently, then age makes no difference. Yeah, there are inconveniences, like you won't be able to sit for a long time, there'll be pain in the joints. That doesn't mean your movement is stunned, it's slowed down. So you need to adjust accordingly. So that is why we say it is better to start when you're young rather than when you're old. But it is better to start at any time, but better than not starting at all. So it's okay. We have to adjust with the handicap and then try to move on, keep our mind fixed on the journey and not allow it to go. So this is the only way we can work on. Gita has 18 adhyayas, and each chapter is a description of a kind of practice by which you can reach. So it's very wide. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, dhyana yoga, sannyasa yoga, and so on and so forth. So there are different ways of moving. So Gita, each chapter is a different approach to the reality. So the main thing to note is that there is an approach and you need to put your mind on it. And you can, while living in this world, still move forward spiritually. These are the three important things in the Gita, the message. Krishna says to Arjuna, you can't leave everything and run off. It's not possible. Because wherever you go, you take your mind. You can't throw your mind and go. So, remain here and do your work properly, keep your mind controlled, move forward. So what language do you speak?
Namaskar. I have a question about the dream, When you get sometimes very vivid dream earlier part of the morning, just before you wake up, you get the dream, but they are so vivid and seem very real, connected with your like a spiritual journey. How do you explain that? Sometimes like I have no answer.
You don't have to explain it. When you have it, you enjoy it.
No, but they are like a puzzle. You are not enjoying
So
it, but there is some kind of a puzzle.
let's not get caught up in the
Okay.
dream. Already we are in a dream world. There is a dream inside a dream, then we need to not worry too much about it. If it's an enjoyable dream, majama. If it is not, then you carry on with it. Okay? Don't worry too much. Now 1 minute. I'm not finished. 1 minute. Suppose you have a dream that comes to you either in the morning or night or any time, vivid dream as you said, and it keeps repeating itself every day. Suppose, same dream. Like somebody is coming and telling you, hey, meditate, and touching your head. Thinking about the first day you think, oh, it's a dream. If it keeps repeating it, then it's not merely a dream, it is somebody trying to help you out. But then it has to come every day. Not different dreams, just need to ignore and carry on. If they are pleasant dreams, enjoy. If they are unpleasant, abandon them. Hmm? Yeah, let us finish this and go. Please, anybody this side, don't ask again. We have to go there. There are many hands.
So, first of all, with reverence and gratitude, I would like to bow down to you.
I can't hear him.
I would like to bow down to you with reverence and gratitude, as I'm here due to some past good action. So, my first question is, how do we
I have one question, please,
So
because there are many.
please, how do we get rid of karma? Like, for instance, in your previous life, uh, in your past life, you didn't, you scolded a guy who came to your help, and Sri Guru Babaji said that you have to undergo the same amount of pain in your next life. So many times we would also have hurt some people in our unconsciously. or killed some, small animals in our,
I can't hear you.
or killed some, we would have killed some, small reptiles.
Mosquito.
In our, yeah, yeah.
Ah.
So, or we would have hurt someone in our unconsciousness. So, how do we get rid of that?
First of all, the theory of karma, the most important part of the theory of karma is now, not the past. Because what has happened in the past, you cannot go back and tinker. You cannot do anything. Future, we don't know anything. We are only projecting that I am sitting here today, tomorrow also I am going to. Really, we don't know. Might be a tsunami. There won't be, what I am saying. So, about the future, we don't know. Past, you cannot go back and tinker. So, when some tendencies come to us in the present, so the present is the most important thing for us. What we do now in the present, this is the crux of the karma theory, is what decides the future. If you have difficult circumstances now because of the past, you cannot do anything about that, but you can do something now so that you overcome it and keep moving forward. So all I'm trying to say is don't be obsessed with the past. Look at yourself and see what is good for me, what is positive, what is negative, and put it into action in this life. If you do that, then in the future you will not be asking me this question. Future means not only this life, but the next, if we meet. So, you know what I mean? So that is the most important part. People forget that. They're thinking of, oh, karma, I must have done like that. But what is my circumstance now? It may be the result of my past. How do I untie it? By doing something now which overcomes it here, not there. There you cannot overcome, it's already done.
Okay. So,
Enough,
my
enough,
second. So my second question is in the second part of the journey continues. There are so many predictions by Sadashiva Brahmendra, by Buddha, by Sri Guru Babaji that they say that you would be born in in this life. Next you will be born in this family. Next you will be born in this, and again finally you will be liberated.
Don't believe anything, it's a crazy book.
No. So, no, does that mean that our life is planned, predestined?
It's not predestined. Things, they know that the way I am progressing now and the kind of work I am doing now, this will be the result tomorrow. There is nothing predestined. Yeah, something is predestined. Like, we are all the results of 3 million years of genetic evolution. Predestined. You can't do anything about that. I am born with a certain genes in my system. I cannot change it. These are all if there is a tsunami or an earthquake, you cannot change it. So you can call it predestined because we cannot explain it. But the main thing is your action has a reaction. Every cause has an effect. That is not predestined. If it is predestined, we should not do kriya. We don't have to do anything. One day we will reach moksha. Have to work. So, while there is a blueprint, we have also been given the capacity to work free of the blueprint. Why? Because the same being, if there is a being, who has made the blueprint, is also there as our true essence. We can also change the blueprint. This is something. Enough.
So my last question in the In the conversation between Yama and Nachiketas, Nachiketas asks for, asks him to teach the secret by which it takes him to heaven, where he said he would gain immortality in heaven. So, so does that mean there is a place called heaven? How? What is it?
Not. See, we are how many people sitting here? About 200? 300 at the last count, head count. Okay. Now, if you think that there are only 300 people sitting here, you are thoroughly mistaken. There may be other beings who are so subtle, then they can occupy the same space that you do. So sometimes when I am having a satsang, it is also for them. Don't get frightened. Nothing to be frightened. You will never touch them or see them, so don't worry. So, in the same way, heaven, hell, and all that need not be a geographically different location. It's a state of consciousness, subtle consciousness. Many planes of consciousness come together and intermingle. Since we are not aware of it, we can see only what is physical outside. That is it. So, Nachiket didn't go anywhere. Nachiket touched that which is beyond ordinary life. And Yamadeva, the Lord of Death, is not like a human being standing there and laughing. In old movies, ha ha ha. And it's an energy that is called death. So he's having a face-to-face dialogue with death itself. And look at Nachiket. He refuses anything offered to him except to find the truth. So when one is in that state, then one finds the truth. What all is offered to him? All the kingdoms of the world, all the wealth, all the elephants, all the dance and music. In fact, he says to Yama, you keep your dance and music. I don't want it. Give me that. What do we naturally, normally do? We go to a so-called guru or whatever, and he says to you, look, don't ask me all this about moksha. It is far. Do you want a BMW? Yes, sir. Finished. Your moksha is gone. Here, take the key.
Thank you so much.
Finish, no? For the time being.